Good evening. Welcome to the 7th annual A Night of Shining Stars hosted by the Tyler ISD Foundation. I am Maya Bethany, the Executive Director of the TISD Foundation. And on behalf of our Board of Directors, we want to welcome you to this prestigious event tonight. Tonight we honor the top 20 graduates from John Tyler High School and Robert E. Lee High School as distinguished educators. Or distinguished scholars, excuse me. Each distinguished scholar has selected a Tyler ISD educator who they felt made the most positive impact on their life to be recognized alongside them. It will be a truly special night as we hear why the students feel those distinguished educators made such a lasting impression in their lives. And students, you will hear why each educator truly believes you are a shining star. We have a special gift for our distinguished scholars and educators. Thank you for joining us tonight as we honor these extraordinary students who have achieved great success in the Tyler ISD and the outstanding educators who got them here. You are our special guest, and we hope you enjoy this evening. Now, just a few housekeeping items as we move forward with tonight's program. There are no food and drink allowed in Caldwell Auditorium, so if you snuck some in here from the reception earlier, please make sure you discard it out in the hallway. Please do not step into the aisles to take pictures or video. We do have photographers and videographers on hand for tonight's event. The pictures will be available on the Foundation's Facebook page, and DVDs of A Night in Shining Stars will be mailed to all the Shining Star students who requested a DVD and each distinguished educator. TISD TV is here filming tonight's event, so please be mindful of their cameras. Also, if you could, please make sure that your cell phone is on the silent mode or the vibrate mode to honor these educators without any interruption. Please do not put your feet up on the seats and do not kick the seat in front of you. Don't put or throw anything on the stage, especially at me. And parents, please do not let your children play in the aisles during the ceremony. This is a very distinguished ceremony, and we want to give the students and teachers the respect they deserve. Thank you. Now I'd like to invite Reverend Orinthia Mason, President of the Tyler ISD Board of Trustees, to come forward and deliver our invocation.
Good evening, and let us pray. We're thankful, Almighty God, that Thou hast continued to bless the Tyler ISD Foundation. Thank you for the men and women in this community who continue to contribute so that we might be able to assist our students as they continue to grow academically. Bless, O Lord, these teachers who are being honored today. May you continue to multiply their efforts so that others will step forward and serve as mentors for these young ladies and young men who are going out into the world achieving and becoming productive citizens. Now, Lord, bless this program. May all that is said and done be pleasing in your sight, and may it be a great success. In the name of Jesus the Christ we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Mason. We want to thank some very special people who helped to make tonight possible. Our sponsors, some of which are here with us tonight. So as we call the name of your business, we ask that you please stand. Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mott, LLP, represented by Tab Bell. Thank you. Brookshire's Grocery Company, represented by Toby and Rhonda Braylon. Thank you for joining us. Our other sponsors for tonight's event include Southside Bank, Barrett and Thomas PC, and Mentoring Minds Critical Thinking for Life. We appreciate their support. A special thanks to the culinary students from John Tyler and Robert E. Lee High Schools who catered tonight's pre-event reception. If you tasted the food, you know that we have some talented students here in TISD. I've been joking to my husband, who's a first-year teacher at Lee, that whenever they have their culinary cafe, if he can eat like that and avoid my Easy Mac and hot dogs on a nightly basis, then you should definitely check them out. So please look at the information and consider them for your future events. I'd also like to turn your attention to the special thanks in your program. Tonight is a huge effort, and there are dozens of people who helped to make tonight a shining success, and we thank them for all they do for TISD. Special thanks to Tyler ISD Communications for their help with the program and photographs this evening. And now I'd like to introduce Tyler ISD Foundation Director and John Tyler graduate Mark Laredo to begin tonight's special presentations.
Good evening. We're going to start things off by inviting each of the students up to be honored. I'm going to read a couple things about them and then some comments that their distinguished educator has said about them. And then we're going to give them a little bit of time to express their gratitude towards those teachers. To start us off, we have Ayers Allison. Ayers is an academic, TISCA academic All-American, an AP scholar with honors, volunteers with the East Texas Food Bank, and serves as a student council senator. Ayers is a member of the National Honor Society, the Spanish Club, the Future Farmers of America. He plans to attend Texas A&M University, where he will major in chemical engineering. After college, he plans to go to medical school and become specialized in neurosurgery. Ayers' distinguished educator is Mr. Matthew Franks. Mr. Franks is a swim coach, grades 7 through 12, and is currently at Hubbard Middle School and Robert E. Lee High School. Mr. Franks had the following to say about Mr. Allison. I am very proud of how Ayers has grown and learned to work within the needs of a team. He accepted several challenges throughout his high school career and came through in the clutch when people around him needed him. I am excited to see how he continues to grow through his college experience and uses the lessons he's learned to help him continue to excel in years to come.
Throughout the 6 years I've known Coach Matt, from middle school up to high school, I've gained various nicknames, from hair helmet to +1. But not only nicknames have I gained from Coach Matt, I have gained attributes such as endurance, moxie, and I've learned the true value of teamwork. Coach Matt has transformed me from a strict academic student to a more lenient athlete academic student. This has taught me to be more competitive throughout my high school career and has helped get me to where I am today. Coach Matt has been a great influence in my life, and he has been a great encouragement to me throughout my high school career and throughout my swimming career. And Coach Matt is a great encouragement to those around him. Coach Matt, thank you, and I love you, man. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Our next distinguished students is Harnana Baines. Ms. Baines is a National Merit Commended Scholar, a member of HOSA National Leadership Conferences in Medical Photography. She does volunteer work with Makindu Eye Clinic in Kenya, Africa, as well as Charity Eve Clinic in Nanden, India. She's the HOSA president, a member of the National Honor Society and its treasurer, a member of Mu Alpha Theta Math Honor Society, the varsity swim team, and the varsity chamber orchestra. Ms. Baines plans to attend the University of Texas at Austin, where she will major in electrical engineering with plans on becoming an orthodontist. She has selected Marilyn McKinley, who is a Robert E. Lee High School pre-AP Calculus, grade 10. Her comments are, Nina was a sophomore while in my pre-calculus pre-AP class. It was a joy to have her as a student, always positive, helpful to her peers, and dedicated to learning the material I presented.
Few educators can boast credentials that Miss McKinley has to her name. Her sheer knowledge of mathematics and life in general is apparent to any student that walks into her door, from pre-AP, pre-calculus, to the words of wisdom written on the blackboard every day. Pre-AP Pre-Cal, my sophomore year with Miss McKinley was one of the most difficult classes I've ever taken in my 12 years in the school system, from Georgia to Chicago to Tyler. Granted, I was in kindergarten, first grade in Georgia and Chicago, but those coloring assignments got harder as the years went on. The very first 6 weeks, the grade I received in Miss McKinley's class was not up to my usual standards. And upon request, if I could do anything to help my grade, Miss McKinley instead told me that it would help me more to remember my grade and allow it to motivate me throughout the course, which it did. That one grade was the driving force behind my success in pre-cal for the remainder of the year and in my other classes. Not only did I learn the importance of studying, I also learned to delve deeper into the question to uncover the answer. Whenever you would go up to ask McKinley a question regarding the problem, she wouldn't give out an answer as many teachers would, but instead respond with another question. Had I looked at it from this point of view, why had I chosen the approach that I had? All of these questions became ingrained into my mind as I started asking them myself whenever I would get stuck. I left pre-cal with a greater understanding and appreciation for mathematics, which has helped me immensely in both AP Calculus AB and Calculus BC. I feel more confident about my mathematic abilities while pursuing my major of electrical engineering at UT Austin next year. Thank you so much, Ms. McKinley, for everything you've done for me and all of your students. You truly are an inspiration.
Our next honored student is Mr. Jackson Calhoun. Jackson received the Academic Excellence Award, was named to the 2-year Academic All-District and second team All-District in basketball. He's a member of the National Honor Society. He also works as a volunteer coach with First Tee. He is the captain of the varsity basketball team and a member of the Texas Bank and Trust Student Board of Directors. He also plays AAU basketball. After high school, Mr. Calhoun plans to attend the University of Texas and major in business, after which he plans on earning his MBA. His honored teacher is Mr. Antoine Lowndes, who works at Robert E. Lee High School as a basketball coach, grades 9 through 12. Mr. Lowndes had the following to say about Jackson. Jackson is, without question, one of the 2 or 3 most outstanding and well-rounded students I have ever encountered at Robert E. Lee in 9 years of teaching. Jackson is a careful and creative thinker with an eye for details and a devotion to logic, which serves him well in both basketball and life. Jackson is not only an excellent student and athlete, but he is also personally delightful. He is as comfortable with himself as he is engaging, pleasant, and humorous. It's amazing to watch him lead his fellow peers, to pump them up when they are down, and in the same breath calm them down when things are too emotional.
Wow, 2 or 3. It's kind of funny. We were both curious whether he would be speaking, I was speaking, so I asked Miss Reed on who was doing it, and she texted me back and she said that I would be doing the speech, and so I told Coach Lowndes that. His response was, what? They're putting you on the mic? This could be a little scary. But if you would go through my phone and read the rest of the messages, pretty much all they would say is, what time we going to the gym? I'm going to be at the gym at this time. You ready for the game? And that's exactly what I loved about Coach Lowndes. Not only the fact that he had a passion for basketball, but being good at basketball. And through that, he taught me to bring my focus, my effort, and my pride with me every day if I want to be good at something. And that's not just basketball, that's life, chores around the house, relationships, pretty much anything you can come in contact with. And all in all, I think it was really just the fact that he taught me what success is and introduced me to hard work. And for that, I thank him. Thanks.
Our next student is Miss Jessica Carachure. She has earned the distinction of First Division Flute Solo volunteers with the East Texas Food Bank, as well as the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. She's the president of the Crochet Club and the secretary of the National Honor Society. She is a member of the Senior Leadership Committee and plays varsity tennis. After high school, Jessica plans to attend TJC for 2 years and transfer to UTSA to major in biology and pre-optometry. She has named Karen Norman as her distinguished educator. Ms. Norman teaches at Bolter Middle School. She teaches band, grades 6, 7, and 8. Ms. Norman had the following to say about Jessica. When Jessica came to her 6th grade band class, I was trying to convince some students to play the flute. Jessica was one of the volunteers. It took a while, but Jessica soon caught on to flute playing. Last year, she told me that when she was in 6th grade, she really didn't know what a flute was, but she was willing to give it a try. When Jessica was in the 8th grade, she and a couple of her band students would often visit me during their lunch. They usually got to the band hall near the end of my class. They told me that they noticed my lunch and that they had just knew that I wasn't very hungry. They were, so they ate some of it. I soon learned to bring a little extra just in case I wasn't very hungry again. As a member of the JT band, Jessica is a section leader and has also served as a librarian. Jessica is also involved in other school activities such as tennis, and she manages to excel in all of them. Jessica is smart, funny, beautiful, and talented. She has an outstanding future ahead of her, and I know she will be a success. I am honored that she chose me for this honor. I have loved being her teacher and band director. Ms. Norman, I set a plate aside for you tonight, and I didn't tell her anything about it.
I met Miss Norman in 6th grade, and we got along real well when I was back then. She always had her door open for me, even though sometimes I had to knock really hard for her to open the band hall. We bonded real well, and I was kind of sad once I left middle school because I thought I wasn't going to see Miss Norman throughout high school. I was really accustomed to Miss Norman, and I wasn't really sure how band was going to be. I was really happy to find out that she was gonna be there in high school with us, and she would always go during after school and practice with us and help us out in many things. She's the reason why me and my trio is going to state this year, because without her, we wouldn't have been where we are today. She would always come to practice, even though it was 6:30 in the afternoon, right after she got out of Boter, she would come to us and we would stay to practice 1 or 2 hours in the band hall just to improve ourselves. I'm really glad that I got to meet Ms. Norman the couple years in my life, and I'm really thankful for her. And thank you so much.
Our next student is Miss Wendy Cervantes. Wendy received first place honors in a public forum debate at our local level, as well as first place in her Criminal Justice Quiz Bowl at the district level. She volunteered services to raise money for the car wash for the Criminal Justice Student Association and is president of Speech and Debate. After high school, Wendy plans to begin at Tyler Junior College, then transfer, become a substance abuse counselor, a police officer, and a speech teacher all at the same time. Wendy has named April Caldwell as her distinguished educator. Ms. Caldwell teaches at John Tyler and is a speech and debate teacher, grades 11 and 12. She had the following to say about Wendy. Orison Martin stated, "Success is the child of drudgery and perseverance. It cannot be coached or bribed. Pay the price and it is yours." This quote exemplifies Wendy, a student who I have been privileged to teach for the last 3 years. Wendy is a child of perseverance. She has worked tirelessly for the honors that she is being recognized for today. Wendy is the individual who always gives 100%, always first to arrive and last to leave. She works every minute to obtain her goals. A leader academically, She has finished her high school career successfully while managing a job, several extracurricular activities, and AP classes. As she has juggled all of these things, she has shown grace, creativity, tenacity, and perseverance. I am honored to have taught her and blessed to have been touched by her influence.
When I first walked into my debate class last year, I was greeted by the happiest teacher I had ever seen. And honestly, I was a little scared because no one is ever that happy. When I was asked to choose an educator that impacted my life, I immediately thought of one person. But she wasn't available. So instead I chose Miss April Caldwell. I have always felt the most important thing in life is being able to see the good thing in everything. This describes Ms. Caldwell perfectly. The things I value, being a strong woman, being smart, and being positive, these are the attributes that anyone could use to describe Ms. Caldwell. The times I have felt like giving up, she refused to let me and pushed me to do my best. She just won't give up on you, and she shows you how to believe in yourself. Ms. Caldwell has become more than just a teacher in my life. As I prepare to leave John Tyler, she will be someone who I can count as a friend. Although I joked about that one person who could not be here tonight, she is. It's Miss April Caldwell, and that is why tonight I honor you as my shining star. Thank you.
Our next student is Mr. Samuel Cook. Mr. Cook has been named to the All-Region Band from 2011 until 2014, as well as the All-Region Orchestra in 2013 and 2014. He's a Vacation Bible School volunteer and participates in mission trips to Lima, Peru. He's a section leader in the Robert E. Lee Band, and after high school plans to attend Mississippi State to earn a degree in aerospace engineering. Mr. Cook has named Robert Castillo as his distinguished educator. Mr. Castillo teaches band grades 9 through 12 at Robert E. Lee High School. He had the following to say about Samuel. I am honored to be recognized as a distinguished educator by Samuel Cook. Sam has been a tremendous music student with the Lee Band for the last 4 years. He may be soft-spoken, however, he certainly demands attention through his exceptional trombone performance. He is not only a great musician, but a wonderful young man. Respectful, conscientious, and responsible are characteristics that Sam embodies personally and models for all of his peers around him. I am very proud to have had a small role in the development of such a successful young person. Thank you, Sam.
Mr. Castillo has taught me for 4 years. He's been a great positive influence on my life. As a musician, he challenges me to improve the way I play my instrument. He expects excellence and doesn't allow me to settle for anything less than my best. But more than just music, his teachings apply to many aspects of my life. In order to play great music, there must be no errors. 100% of the notes have to be played right. And the biggest problem is normally the mental, not the physical. To ensure perfection, you have to be constantly focused on what you're doing. And he's constantly said that you can't just zone out, otherwise you'll mess up and then it won't be great. To progress from good to great, you have to take all the details into consideration and pay attention to them, because even though very small, they add up, and that's what makes you great. I've learned that whatever I'm doing, I must give all of my attention to that task, whether schoolwork, music, fun, or serious. This outlook allows me to achieve personal success in everything. He's taught me all this and much more. I'm very happy to have been able to enjoy 4 years of his humor and leadership, even though I was intimidated by him for probably all of freshman year. My time in band has been some of the best experiences of my life, and I'm very thankful to Mr. Castillo.
Our next student is Ms. Kenia Delgado. Ms. Delgado was named to the second team All-District and placed 16th in 2 cross-country races. She volunteers her time with Relay for Life, Toys for Tots, and Shoes for Uganda. She's the captain of the soccer team and a member of the National Honor Society. After high school, Ms. Delgado plans to go to TJC for 2 years and then transfer to university. One day she wants to become a pediatric oncologist. She has named Mr. Toby Wall as her distinguished educator. Mr. Wall is a social studies teacher for grade 6 at Dogan Middle School. He had the following to say about Kenya. I am very gracious and honored that Kenya Delgado chose me as a distinguished educator, but I am in no way surprised that she is in the top 20 of her class. Kenya was an awesome student in my class, and I'm quite sure that has remained unchanged. Kenya holds the quality in a student most admired by teachers: interest. She was always genuinely interested in social studies, and she followed up on that interest with a desire to learn. She worked hard and participated with an eagerness not often seen in a 12-year-old. Kenya's most endearing character trait is her sense of humor. She was always eager to laugh. She lit up the classroom when she walked in. I had the opportunity to speak with her at her job the other day, and I witnessed firsthand that her happiness is still infectious. Kenya was and is a great student, a great person, and a great example to her peers of what is best about her generation. I have no doubt that whatever life throws her way, she will succeed in, and whatever endeavor she chooses. I am so very proud of Kenya Delgado. I am proud of her accomplishments. I am proud of her future, which is obviously bright. I am truly honored that she chose me for this recognition.
Educators are fundamental in our lives. They educate us and, like parents, guide us through life's obstacles. Many of those great educators have impacted my life in different ways. However, Mr. Wall has stand out the most. He was my 6th grade year social studies teacher, and unlike other educators I've actually had before, he was funny. I will never forget the first day of school. He told us, get out a sheet of paper, write your name on it, things you like to do, hobbies. He said, it's going to be for a grade. I was scared. I was like, grade on the first day of school? I didn't expect this. And then he said, okay, ball it up. He stood in the front of the classroom with the trash can, and we got to throw the paper at him. A lot of people hit him in the face. I remember he says somebody hit him with a rock or something. And I'm just never going to forget that day. Every time I went into his classroom, he always had a new joke to tell. And his class was just always so fun. He made everything seem like it was so easy to learn. Not just schoolwork, but he taught us about life and how we're supposed to stand up for each other and for ourselves, not let anybody bring us down with anything we do, because anything we believe we can accomplish. He also, I know he was part of the military at some point, which helped him teach us a lot of leadership skills, not just the pretty part from the military, also the bad part to it, because everything has a pretty and a bad part. Last time, he went and visited me at Olive Garden, where I work, and he said, hey, how are you doing? And still checks up on me every now and then. He always makes sure that I'm doing fine. This just means a lot to me, and I one day want to impact somebody's life like he has impacted mine. Thank you for being my shining star.
Next, we have Miss Mallory Dyke. Mallory was named to the Volleyball Academic All-State Team in 2013, is a member of the National Honor Society. She volunteers her time and efforts for Toys for Tots and the Angel Tree. She is co-captain of the volleyball team. After high school, Mallory plans to attend TJC with a major in pre-med, planning to become a dermatologist. Mallory has named Ms. Vicki Mullins her distinguished educator. Miss Mullins teaches kindergarten at Bell Elementary School. She had the following to say about Mallory. I can't help but smile whenever I think of Mallory Dyke. What a joy she was to teach. Mallory was always a high achiever academically, but she also possessed many natural gifts that really stood out, even as early as kindergarten. Because of her many talents, I have always felt that she will someday make a difference in society. Mallory continually tackled all of her assignments with gusto. Even at 5 years old, she was very organized and goal-oriented. She persevered when things got challenging and was very much a quiet leader in our kindergarten classroom. She led by example, and the students followed. I am not at all surprised at her academic success, and she has always been one to rise to the occasion. She had a way of processing people or situations before she spoke or acted. This is not a common trait of a kindergartner. She had a very calm demeanor even in the middle of chaos, and was not one to panic or shrivel up at adversity. Even with all these wonderful talents, my fondest memories of Mallory are her endearing smile and her loving spirit. I am very proud and so happy for her. She deserves this honor, and just as always, I am sure she'll be humble and modest in accepting it, because that's who Mallory is.
I believe that everything happens for a reason, and I believe that the reason I'm standing before you today is because of Mrs. Vicki Mullins. She not only taught me as a kindergartner, but a few other students being recognized today as well. The impact that Mrs. Mullins had on my education goes without saying. She instilled in me a love for learning and gave me a passion for reading. She gave me the foundation on which I built my academic success. I have many memories of my time in her class and how she made learning fun. One of my favorite memories was the QU wedding. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's the marriage of the letters Q and U to help students remember that when spelling words start with a Q, a U will always accompany it. We had a play-like wedding ceremony where I got to be Mrs. U, and I enjoyed getting to take part in the event. I think the most important thing that I took from my time being taught by Mrs. Mullins is learning to read. Through her patience and dedication, she taught me every day how to successfully read, and she made it enjoyable. This skill has helped me in daily life and in all of my classes. But Mrs. Mullins not only taught me in academics, she also taught me compassion. Mrs. Mullins has a true love for children and a dedication to seeing her students be successful. She was a teacher inside and out of the classroom. When I was in 3rd grade, my younger brother had Mrs. Mullins in kindergarten. This was the year my grandfather passed away. Mrs. Mullins was so caring by going above and beyond her teaching duties to show compassion for our family by reaching out to us with small gestures of love. And even when I had moved on from elementary school, she still kept up with me and wrote me a very thoughtful letter for my 5th grade graduation. I didn't realize it then, but the impact Mrs. Mullins had on me has helped carry me throughout my academic career. So now I want to say thank you, Ms. Mullins, for all you have done, not only for me, but for all of your students. You're such an inspiration, and may you continue to be blessed in all that you do.
Our next student is Ms. Kashanti Flowers. Kashanti is a member of the top 10 in her class, the 2nd team all-district, and all-team district academics. She volunteers her services as a blood drive coordinator and is a member of the National Honor Society. After high school, Kashanti plans to attend Texas A&M or Baylor and major in biology and pre-med. She has named Miss Erin Hall as her distinguished educator. Ms. Hall is a speech teacher, grade 12, at John Tyler High School. Ms. Hall had the following to say about Kashanti. Kashanti is the type of student that I wish all of my students could be like. She has a positive attitude, is kind, thoughtful, and obviously smart. She truly knows the value of hard work and is driven to succeed, and does so while also being a multi-sport athlete and volunteer. While she can be quiet and polite, she is also always so friendly, yet she is also not afraid to tell it like it is when need be. Kashanti is an outstanding representative of John Tyler academics and athletics.
I met Miss Hall the first semester of my senior year. I instantly took a liking to her because she wasn't like my other teachers, even though she did teach speech, which I dreaded so much. She pushed me hard, and she taught me to speak what's on my mind and what's on my heart, and to not tolerate ignorance from other students. She taught me the value of finding a voice that I didn't know I had. Miss Erin Hall is my shining star. She is one of the teachers that has pushed me through everything. But not only that, she taught me how to succeed, and for that I thank you.
Our next student is Ms. Dalia Galdames. Ms. Galdames was named first vase solo ensemble, volunteers her services at the East Texas Food Bank and the Salvation Army. She's a member of the National Honor Society, the tennis team, the French Club, and the orchestra. After high school, Dalia plans to attend TJC for 2 years, then transfer to UT Austin to earn a master's in interior design. She has named Mr. Guillermo Aranguren as her distinguished educator. Mr. Aranguren teaches Biology 1 and 2 AP grades 9 through 12. He had the following to say about Dalia. I met Dalia 3 years ago in my pre-AP biology class and was impressed with her devotion to success. Despite her unassuming demeanor in class, looking at her work, her papers, her test scores, I knew I was looking at someone gifted. Since, Dalia has matured by venturing into different areas and excelling in most. She is an NHS member, an artist, an athlete, and member of the French Club, truly a representative of the best John Tyler has to offer. The highest recognition a teacher can get does not come from his or her peers, nor the administration. It comes from students. The students being celebrated tonight are the elite. To be recognized by them intensifies the significance of this prestigious honor. I am humbled to be acknowledged as a part of Dalia's academic experience.
College was always a big part of what I imagined for myself in the future. And being in Ms. Ray's class made me realize just how difficult college classes will be. However, this did not discourage me, nor did I ever consider giving up. In fact, I realized very quickly that I would have to work harder in that class than I had imagined. I wasn't surprised, of course. I knew AP classes are challenging. What did surprise me was the 100-question test Ms. Ray gave us on the very first day of school. Thank you. All he said that day was, "You can look down in frustration, up for inspiration, but not to the sides for information." Mr. A was the teacher who, no matter what, pushed us all to our limits. The way he taught the class forced us to realize how difficult college classes would be, but that we were ready despite however smart we may be. He made us realize that even if we thought we couldn't do it, by studying and working harder and more diligently with every passing day, we could take these college-level classes and we could do the work, even if it was difficult at times. The way Mr. A acts shows a lot about his character. Before letting us enter his classroom every day, we have to either high-five him or shake his hand. To an outsider, this seems pointless, but to us, it's his way of showing us that he cares enough to greet us individually. He taught in a way that no matter what, everybody would understand. Even if we had to spend countless minutes going over something constantly, he taught it until everyone understood. No matter what I do, he's the teacher that made me realize just how far my knowledge can take me. I may not go into a field of study that requires biology, but that wasn't the most important part of his class. The most important part was Mr. A, who showed me just how far I can push myself. He may have been a laid-back teacher, but at the same time, he forced me to realize all that I can do, and for that, I am thankful.
Our next student is Ms. Crystal Galindez. She has been named the Outstanding Senior Award, volunteers her services with the East Texas Food Bank, and Keep Tyler Beautiful. She's a member of the drill team, the National Honor Society, and the French Club. After high school, Crystal plans to attend UT Tyler, where she will major in chemistry, and later plans to become a dentist. She has named Sandra Taylor as her distinguished educator. Ms. Taylor teaches English 4 AP at John Tyler High School. She had the following to say about Crystal. Crystal Galindez is a unique young woman who sets goals for herself and works hard to attain them. She is not only an excellent student who concentrates on her academics, but also has great respect for her teachers and cares deeply for her fellow students. In Crystal's pursuit of higher education, she would like to receive a degree in dentistry. With her determination, there is no doubt this goal will be achieved. Crystal's character is a quality to be admired. She is straightforward and honest when speaking her mind, but also has a friendly disposition. Her care and commitment to her future plans is commendable, and she is an inspiration to those around her.
When I was asked to choose an educator for the Night of the Shining Stars, I found myself in a pickle. To choose one teacher from all the great educators that I have encountered was a difficult task, but I had one teacher in particular, and that was Miss Taylor, my English teacher. When Miss Taylor was first mentioned to me, it was my junior year for the senior class of 2013. They kept coming to me telling me that she was mean, that her class was challenging, and that she gave too much work. But when it came time for me to be a senior, and I met her, she was not the mean teacher, the teacher that gave too much work. Instead, she was a teacher that expected a lot from her students. Not only that, but she taught us that timing is very important, especially if it means getting to her class. She has prepared me for college, and for that I'm very thankful. And I want to thank you for being my Night of Shining Stars.
Our next honored student is Miss Jessica Gaona. She is a member of the A Honor Roll and had perfect attendance. She volunteered her services ringing the bell for the Salvation Army, as well as with the canned food drive. Her extracurricular activities include Spanish, student council, and culinary arts. After high school, she plans to attend TJC, and then followed by UT Tyler, where she will study education. Jessica has named Aaron Hernandez, the physics teacher from John Tyler High School. Mr. Hernandez had the following to say about Jessica. It is a true honor to have been selected by Jessica. I felt so very flattered when I received the great news. Jessica Gaona is indeed a shining star. Students like her make teaching a very easy and pleasant profession. Even though I don't dare to say that I know her very well, I can tell that she is a very well-mannered young lady with a capacity and a desire to learn that I wish was contagious, and also with a great potential to achieve any academic or professional goal that she may set for her future.
A good teacher is like a candle. It consumes itself to light the way for others. Quoted by Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. My career goals actually include becoming a light for others, as I myself want to become a kindergarten teacher in the near future. This goal of mine has been possible with the help of all my previous teachers and their light. All my teachers have influenced me in some kind of way, but Mr. Hernandez especially influenced me since he is someone I can relate to. As a Hispanic, it is not always easy to fulfill our dreams, yet after a bachelor's and even a master's degree, he is living proof that dreams can be achieved. In a short amount of time, Mr. Hernandez has managed to create a major for learning science, a topic I have always struggled in, and I can truly say he has been the best teacher I've ever had in this subject. Every day, I could see how he put an extra effort on the topics he would teach, and thus giving us the necessary knowledge. His hard work is a quality every teacher should imitate and put into action with their own students. Mr. Hernandez also impacted my life by being an example of what hard work, dedication, and perseverance leads to, which is the opportunity to get ahead and get to where you want to get to. As an inspiration in my life, I would one day like to be a teacher who motivates her students and be a role model as he has been for me. With time comes the experienced teacher who loses the passion he once started with. He then loses the same energy and effort he had as a beginner, and he simply does things as a habit. But I hope this scenario does not happen to you, Mr. Hernandez. I want this day to be a motivation for the near future.
I hope you keep on being the great teacher you are and know that there are students who appreciate your hard work and dedication. As you once told me, your motivation as a teacher was to inspire the youth to work in what they're passionate about. I can assure you that you have inspired at least one of them. Oftentimes, our great instructors and teachers do their job without receiving a single expression of gratitude. So, Mr. Hernandez, I cannot think of any other way of doing this without a simple thank you. Thank you for all your hard work and devotion as a teacher. I pray to God that He give you the will to continue as a successful teacher. I know it's not the easiest job out there, but don't give up on us, because there are many students depending on your light. And not only that, there are a few of us following your footsteps.
Our next student is Miss Sandra Garcia. She's been honored to be on the A Honor Roll and an all-state choir member. She volunteers her time with St. Paul's Children Foundation, the Susan G. Komen Foundation, and the East Texas Food Bank. She is president of the Avid Club, as well as a member of the National Honor Society and the show choir. After high school, Ms. Garcia plans to attend TJC and receive her certification as a dental hygienist, after which she plans to transfer to a 4-year college. Moreover, she plans on a career in cosmetology. Sandra has named Ms. Sheila Thurmond her distinguished educator. Ms. Thurmond teaches algebra pre-AP at Moore MST Middle School. She had the following to say about Sandra. Sandra Garcia is one of those students that is truly a shining star. I had the pleasure of teaching Sandra algebra in the 8th grade at Moore MST. She was quiet, studious, and not apt to ask questions. Imagine my surprise when this summer between 8th and 9th grade, I got a call that Sandra, along with some friends, needed some assistance on summer homework. I was so proud that she reached out. She was committed to her best performance, that she sought help even when she was in school. Sandra is that kind of an individual. She strives for her very best. She works hard, and honoring her today is a reflection of that work. Sandra, I am humbled and honored to be your chosen educator, as you are one of those rare students a teacher dreams of inspiring. Good luck in all that you do as you move forward. I am so proud of you.
Well, once I entered Miss Thurman's class, 8th grade year, it was math class. Scary. However, you entered into an atmosphere of enthusiasm and joy. Miss Thurmond, I was accidentally placed in your class on her on-level math class, and then she bumped me into Algebra 1, which was pretty panicking because, that was a high school course. However, she helped me a lot with my studies. She would stay with me after school until 6 p.m., which scared the heck out of my mom when I wasn't out by 3:40. But she's not just an educator. She's more than an educator. She's a friend, someone you can trust, someone you can count on whenever you need her. Miss Thurmond, you are truly Miss Magnificent Miss Thurmond, and you're more than a shining star. You're the entire sun and the planets all around it. Thank you so much, Miss Thurmond.
Our next student, Mr. Eric Gonzalez. He won 3rd place varsity tennis tournament and is on the A Honor Roll. He volunteers his time with the East Texas Food Bank and the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. He is president of the National Honor Society, a viola section leader, a member of the JROTC, and varsity orchestra. After high school, Mr. Gonzalez plans to attend TJC for 2 years and then transfer to UT Tyler to finish his nursing career. He has named Miss Jane Neal as his distinguished educator. Miss Neal teaches French at Robert E. Lee. She had the following to say about Eric. It was my great pleasure to teach Eric's 1st and 2nd year of French. Eric exemplified all of the positive qualities that make teaching a joy. He was highly self-motivated, consistently engaged, respectful, thorough, and kind. Eric displayed a surprising sense of self, taking ownership of his time and his work. My appreciation for Eric only grew the longer I knew him. I would see him equally focused and eager as I passed by his other classes in the hallway. I was astonished last year when I learned that Eric was performing so well, while also keeping 30 to 40 hours a week at his job. In short, Eric is an excellent student because he is an excellent person. He is a thoughtful, thorough thinker whose gifts will no doubt continue to enrich any environment in which he participates. I am so grateful to have had his presence in my classroom.
3 months ago, I was asked to honor a teacher. It was difficult choosing from current and past educators, but Ms. Neal impacted my life since the first day I met her. Unlike other students, I had a connection with her. She has been caring, kind, and smart, and helpful in many difficult situations I went through, like the passing away of my grandfather. She was the one who helped me overcome these and other obstacles. Her constant motivation and wisdom has challenged me to better myself each and every day. She gave me the inspiration to be the best I could be. I owe a lot of success to her. She has always been there for me, either in bad or good situations. With that, I want to say thank you for everything you have done, and tonight you are my shining star.
Next, we have Mr. Rafael Guzman. He is a member of the top 5 of his class, an AP scholar, was named to the National Hispanic Recognized Scholar, and Academic All-State. He volunteers his time with the Salvation Army, is a member of the National Honor Society where he is an officer. Also, he runs track and plays lacrosse. After high school, he plans on majoring in chemical engineering and then attending medical school. Rafael has chosen Miss Melinda Tefteller as his honored educator. Ms. Tefteller teaches art history and National Honor Society at Robert E. Lee High School. She had the following to say about Rafael. Someone once said that the sky is the limit, but how can the sky be the limit if there are footprints on the moon? For you, Rafael, there is truly no limit to what you can do. Your perseverance, dedication, and achievements amaze me. Learning English in a matter of months as a 5th grader is an amazing feat. Graduating in the very top of your class further proves your dedication and integrity. I am so grateful to have been your teacher this year. I absolutely love art history, but more than that, I genuinely enjoy teaching you. Our year has been fun, from gingerbread architecture, not-so-secret Davids, whiteboard art challenges, and laughs, to specialized tests with questions about Bell's ball. You consistently amaze me with your brilliance and desire to step up and help, such as when we needed assistance in the National Honor Society. I am confident that no matter where your future takes you, you will continue to be the learning. You will continue learning process, always learning, seeking knowledge, and continuing to become more open-minded. Your present achievements and integrity prove to me that you are absolutely capable of doing anything in the world that you want to do. Continue to work hard in your next journey, and I hope that you will continue to share your accomplishments with me. I take great joy in your accomplishments and compassion for others. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for letting me be your teacher.
Okay. To be completely honest, I have never been really fond of teachers. But tonight I have selected to honor Ms. Tefteller because I believe she truly embodies the word teacher. Not only does Ms. Tefteller love teaching and the subjects she teaches, but also she is a very caring individual who not only aims to be a teacher to a student, but also a friend. Even though I have only known Ms. Tefteller for only 1 year, she has always been there for me and she has never failed me. Whether it was last-minute help on a project or getting me out of trouble, or even helping me as my prom date like a week ago, she has always been there for me and she has never failed me. She has shown me that the greatness of a person is not measured by intelligence, but also by its kindness. She is a great educator and also a great friend, and for that I thank you, Ms. Tefteller.
Next, we have Mr. Chandler Harrison, who's a member of the National Honor Society and National Young Leaders. He received the Windsor Distinguished Service Award, serves the Bethesda Health Clinic, is senior class president, a member of the soccer team, the UIL literary criticism team, and enjoys scuba diving. After high school, Mr. Harrison plans to attend Washington and Lee University, studying finance with the ultimate goal of attending law school. He has also named Miss Melinda Tefteller as his distinguished educator. Ms. Tefteller had the following to say about Chandler. Students like you are the reason that I teach. 3 years ago, you took a risk and signed up for an art history class that you knew nothing about. Within that year, cradled in that classroom, are stories, post and lintel reenactments, laughs, the mummification of an actual Egyptian, secret Davids, journeys through time, art, and culture. I am honored to have been part of your story. Teaching you has been such a rich experience. I am incredibly proud of the person you have become, what you have accomplished, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you. I most admire that you keep your bright demeanor on days that most students would give up. There were so many days that I was ornery and stressed, and having you in class always made me laugh and forget those stresses. You have a heart of gold. Your Byzantine halo shines bright. You are a star more brilliant than any Van Gogh's Starry Night. I am amazed by your brilliance. You are an incredible student, and you have forever changed my life.
Thank you. I'm a math kid. I always like math. I get math, makes sense, it's concrete. And so whenever I signed up for AP Art History, I was kind of scared, I guess you could say. In fact, I was really kind of dreading it until I met Miss T, very nice lady. Slide after slide, day after day, we studied seamlessly, never-ending history of art. Van Gogh, Monet, Picasso, Raphael became familiar names for the scribe's recorded history with the paintbrush. No matter how many works of art Miss Tefteller taught us about, her excitement for the pieces never wavered. There was always a passion in her teaching for the history, for the artist, for the ideology, and the emotions that was so unique it was infectious to the whole class. Her class took me so far outside my logical comfort zone that at times I was confused by it. I couldn't understand how she could be so enthused by paintings no matter how simple or small they were. After all, wasn't it just paint? That is, until I was able to visit Europe a couple weeks after completing her class. I stood in front of the masterpieces in the Louvre, in the British Museum. I climbed the stairs of Notre Dame, and I marveled at history as it came alive, and I could hear Miss Tefteller's voice. I was so excited to see art come off the pages of the textbook and be hanging right there in front of me. I even went so far as to take kind of illegally taken pictures of the Mona Lisa, and I texted it to her from Paris. My dad even said, "I've never seen a 17-year-old go to Europe and only want to go to museums." Then I was finally able to understand where a passion for art came from. The story told through art is unlike any other story. The remnants are not battlegrounds or speeches, but they are tangible expressions of emotion. Thank you for teaching me to go outside my comfort zone, to enjoy art, and to be more than just a math kid. Miss Tefteller, you changed my history and impacted my future forever. Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Clifton Henry Jr. He was named the most outstanding senior and to the honor roll. He volunteers his service at the church food pantry, is a member of the debate team, the choir, and enjoys playing guitar. After high school, Mr. Henry plans to go to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, and become an applied mathematician for the federal government or private industry. Clifton has named Mr. Asmund Walker as his distinguished educator. Mr. Walker teaches pre-calculus and calculus at John Tyler High School. He had the following to say about Clifton. Clifton Henry is a hardworking, self-motivated young man. He has a dynamic, outgoing personality. While he has always gets high grades and has been very successful in high school, he has always kept his focus on attending college and earning a degree. He works well in a team environment, but is also not afraid to show initiative and take the lead when necessary. One of his best qualities is his inquisitive nature. You can always count on Clifton to ask probing questions. When faced with a new assignment, he is very good at applying his prior knowledge to a new problem. He is not afraid to ask questions if he can't find the answer. He is always working to better himself by independently studying and acquiring the skills needed to tackle advanced problems.
I remember at the beginning of last school year, I was lost with what I wanted to do with my career. I always had a talent for math, but I wanted to go into the law profession. Last year, I decided to take both pre-calculus and calculus in the same school year, and Mr. Walker was my teacher. He is a great teacher and individual who wants to see all his students succeed at the same level. And his teaching style was very clear and concise that I excelled in both pre-cal and calculus. I thank Mr. Walker for leading me in the right path towards my career. He told me that I was just as talented as his niece in math, that I should get a PhD in mathematics. And ever since what he said, I've always kept that idea and realized that mathematics is my calling. And I want to thank Mr. Walker for having confidence in my ability and leading me in the right direction.
Next, we have Ms. Taylor Hill. She earned the distinction of Senior Class Tribute and was a member of the UIL one-act play Best Tech Crew. She was a member of the REL Theater Club, a stage manager, a student tutor for the National Honor Society, and volunteered her services with Pencils of Promise, also was a member of the Spanish Club and the tennis team. After high school, Ms. Hill plans to attend the University of South Florida, where she will major in psychology. Taylor has named Mr. Keith Schoen her distinguished educator. Mr. Schoen teaches 11th grade English at Robert E. Lee. He had the following to say: in AP Language and Composition, we have a given. Students must accept it like they do geometric proofs or physical equations. For English, the given is that writers not only mean what they say, but they mean to express themselves through the use of rhetorical devices with a clear, purposeful intent. Yes, each connotation of that word choice does apply, and yes, that rosebush is more than a rosebush. It is a symbol of wild freedom, romantic passion, natural beauty, and anything else you can think of. It's there. The writer didn't have to put it there. Therefore, he put it there on purpose. Not all students can make this leap of faith. Fewer still, as Taylor Hill has, can put it into practice. Taylor is a painter of words, a pruner of rose bushes. She has a gifted mind, thoughtful, encompassing, and when she begins an argument, the colors of her paint are arrayed beautifully before her. She selects her words with intention, and her essays are like tapestries of humorous, satiric episodes. I admire the confidence and efficiency of this terrific, sometimes terrifying young woman. Meticulous in all she does, Taylor is always in control, always prepared. In class, the undercurrent of her wit kept us afloat. She was difficult to keep quiet, and secretly I enjoyed the edge of her sharp wit. But within this sarcastic exterior is a mind at work, a playful mind that is so effortlessly full of insight. I admire Taylor's talents, and I am genuinely proud to have had the chance to have taught her.
As Mr. Schoen can attest to and his 7th period class, I had a very nice speech written, but Mr. Schoen also taught me how to cut things short, sweet, and stay to the point. So Mr. Schoen has allowed me to change and become more self-assured in my leadership positions and taking charge and fixing problems I see in the world. As a lot that had Schoen for junior year English, I saw a problem with his word wall. He had many duplicates of words on the wall, and it was not working. And as Schoen can attest to, I have slight OCD issues. So much to Shawan's dismay, I kind of started taking the words down from the wall and reorganized them and made it much, much more OCD efficient. So to state what I was trying to say, Mr. Shawan taught me a lot as a person and helped me grow, but I also taught him a few things. As for his impact on my educational journey, Mr. Shawan helped me capture the essence of my naturally sarcastic and blunt personality and channel it into effective and argumentative essays. He helped me use my slightly random but very Jeopardy-worthy knowledge to help connect with my audience better, which, as he also likes to tell, every person needs. While Mr. Shawan might have replaced my beautifully, beautifully organized word wall with a whiteboard, and I will soon be replacing all of my high school lessons with college ones, I will always have a spot for the life and English lessons that Mr. Shawan instilled in me when I was just Miss Taylor May, who he could not keep quiet in his class. So thank you, Shawan.
Next, we have DeShaylin Jones. She was named to the second team All-East Texas, as well as the AB Honor Roll. She volunteers with the Orr Elementary Fall Festival, the Salvation Army, and the East Texas Food Bank. She is a member of the JV track and field, where she was named captain. She's also a member of the National Honor Society and the Student Council. After high school, DeShaylin plans to attend TJC, then transfer to the University of Oklahoma for nursing school. As her distinguished educator, she is named Ms. Shaquinta Petty, who coaches grades 9 through 10 at John Tyler High School. She had the following to say: DeShaylin Jones has grown over the past 4 years. She is a very intelligent young lady. This young lady is known for her hard work and helping others. While maintaining her grades these past 4 years, she has been involved in many extracurricular activities in and outside of school. It has been a pleasure to see her growth. I can't wait to see how she will improve our economy in the future. So remember this name, DeShaylin Jones.
In the 80s, Nancy Reagan started a school slogan, "Just Say No." I heard a similar one every day when leaving the presence of Coach Petty. Coach Petty would tell all her students and athletes, "Say no to drugs and alcohol." She's not only providing an intellectual knowledge, but also social skills that shaped my high school career. Coach Petty was my freshman volleyball coach. When I first saw her, I thought she was the meanest person ever. However, in the first month, I quickly realized she wasn't. Miss Petty became a person that I could talk to about anything. There would be days I would walk in her class early in the morning and just start venting. No matter what the situation was, she was going to tell the truth. And that was something I respected about her, because most people couldn't do that, and she didn't have any problems with doing that. This amazing lady has taught me how to be true to myself and don't let others and their comments affect me. And I just want to thank you for that, and also grateful to have a coach like you and a person whose influence shaped me, and I'm blessed to be by your impact. Thank you for being my light, my shining star.
Next, we have Mr. Robert Tyler Jones. He was named to the first team All-District in baseball, was named the 2013 AP Scholar, as well as the 2013 All-East Texas Honorable Mention in baseball. He volunteers his services with the Little League State Baseball Tournament and the TISD Stuff the Bus School Supply Drive. His leadership positions include the 2013-2014 Student Body President, as well as the Junior Class President in 2013-2014. He also volunteered as the 2013 Canned Food Drive Chairman. After high school, Robert plans to attend Southern Methodist University, where he will obtain an undergraduate degree in mechanical engineering. He has named Mr. William David Howard as his distinguished educator. Mr. Howard coaches baseball at Robert E. Lee. He had the following to say: Tyler is a hardworking, intrinsically motivated young man in all aspects of his academic, athletic, and personal life. He is one of the most naturally gifted leaders I have been associated with. He is relentless in his pursuit of excellence for himself and the people associated with him. Tyler is committed to character and service. He demonstrates this commitment while serving in leadership role on numerous organizations on campus. Tyler is a unique and impressive combination of talent, intelligence, and personal skills. It has been a real privilege to spend the past 4 years watching Tyler grow and develop as a man, a student, and a leader.
I remember when I met Coach Howard for the first time. I was but a lowly 8th grader visiting my older sister Ashley's AP biology class. There was not much of an exchange between Coach Howard and myself as I walked into the class that day, so I figured him to be an intimidating, strictly business kind of guy. As I entered the high school world, my first encounter with Coach Howard was during freshman football. He knew who I was, and I certainly knew who he was. But at that point, I was basically known as Ashley's little brother. Nonetheless, over the next 4 years, Coach Howard and I would establish a close relationship, one where I even got to be called by my own name. 4 years ago today, my sister Ashley stood in the same spot alongside Coach Howard. Seeing the respect Coach Howard had for Ashley, I knew I had a strong reputation to live up to. Even after 4 varsity baseball seasons and a year in his AP biology class, if asked who he liked better, Coach Howard would no doubt sarcastically respond, "Ashley, no question about it." But he would not be able to say it without a smile on his face. That is the type of person I found Coach Howard to be. Though he came across as very serious, Coach Howard has a great sense of humor with a slight dose of sarcasm, something I really like about him. Beyond my respect for Coach Howard as a teacher and a coach, I have found him to be an upstanding guy. He is a great role model and an enjoyable person to be around. As I look back upon what built the respect I have for Coach Howard, I think the most important piece comes from our association in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes organization. Seeing what a man of faith Coach Howard is further heightened the admiration I have for him. He has always shown me that I can accomplish anything I set my mind to, both on and off the field and in and out of the classroom. I can recall a speech Coach Howard gave the team halfway through district play this past baseball season. He told us that even though we had started district with a dismal 2-4 record, everything we wanted to accomplish was still in our hands. He related it to life. Whatever we wished to succeed in, we could do it if we put our minds to it. Sure enough, we ended district on a 5-2 run and made the playoffs. We accomplished our goal courtesy of Coach Howard's life lesson. Likewise, the numerous hours we've been around each other on the baseball field has revealed Coach Howard's everyday character. He is an energetic guy that loves to supplement his business with some fun. This past baseball season, Coach Howard pulled me in his office and asked if he could borrow my black arm sleeve for an upcoming game. He said he wanted to look like he had swag by staying updated on the latest baseball fad. Whether it was because we won when he wore the arm sleeve or he thought he looked like a stud, he wore it every game after that. Coach Howard, I must say, I thought you looked kind of ridiculous, but I'm all about superstitions. Being that Coach Howard is a man of character, a man of faith, and he loves to have fun, he is definitely my greatest role model.
Next, we have Jacqueline Luna. She was named to the A Honor Roll, as well as First Division Solo and Ensemble. She volunteers her time with the St. Louis Ranch and the East Texas Food Bank. She's president of the John Tyler Band, a member of the National Honor Society and the Amigos Club. After high school, she plans to attend UT Tyler and be in the interdisciplinary program and earn a bachelor's in education to become a kindergarten teacher. She has named Miss Anna Hodges as her distinguished educator. Ms. Hodges teaches Spanish, grades 11 and 12. She had the following to say: Jacqueline is quiet and reserved, but always prepared and willing to lend a helping hand. I will miss her sweet smile, which always brightens my day. Good luck in your chosen career.
A few years ago, not too long ago, I attended a night of shining stars. Of course, at the time, I was only an 8th grader in middle school, and I had no idea what the whole shining stars meant. It wasn't until my sophomore year that I finally understood what a shining star was. And from that moment on, I knew that I wanted to be a shining star. At the time, I was barely at the top of my class, so I used this night as motivation. So when I was informed that I would be a shining star and had to honor a teacher, I knew exactly who to select. I first met Miss Hodges when I walked in her Spanish AP class last year as a junior. I walked in thinking that the class was going to be a breeze considering that I knew Spanish. Little did I know that I didn't really know that much Spanish. That class taught me a lot, especially that I'm not really good in speaking Spanish or writing it. I remember having her class at the end of the day, and I would sometimes just stare at the clock waiting for the last bell to ring so I could go home. But Miss Hodges always seemed so enthusiastic and just ready to learn and ready to teach us, which was something that I admire about her. She has a great passion for teaching. I've never seen a teacher so passionate about education and wanting to help her students go further in life. I would like to take this night to thank her for being there for me and to inform her that she was an influence and was what made me choose to become a teacher. I wish to be like her when I grow up and to be somebody's influence and role model, just like how she has become mine. If I learned anything from her, is that education is power. And now, because of her, I will have the chance to give someone that power. And for that, I am thankful. Ms. Hodges, to me, you are my shining star.
Next, we have Mr. Alex Marcial. He was named to the AB Honor Roll and finished 6th place in the HOSA competition. He participates in multiple charity runs, is the senior class vice president and first lieutenant of the Lion Guard. He enjoys powerlifting. After high school, he plans to attend TJC for 2 years, then transfer to UT Arlington or UT Austin for nursing. As his distinguished educator, he is named Mr. Joel Ainge. Mr. Ainge teaches science, grade 5, at TJ Austin Elementary School. He had the following to say: Alex Marcial was a student in my 5th grade class. Alex proved to be an exceptional student with a driving passion for learning, as he took advantage of the various learning opportunities while at Austin Elementary. The non-traditional structure of our classroom, which emphasized student-led classroom management, allowed Alex to demonstrate his strong leadership skills, problem-solving abilities, and interpersonal communication skills. I thank God for the opportunity to have taught such an outstanding student as Alex Marcial.
As far as I can remember, Mr. Inch has known my family since my oldest brother, Uriel, attended elementary. My brother is now 27 years old. Mr. Inch has taught every single one of my siblings and a number of my cousins. From what my family and I have learned from this wonderful man is that he is an outstanding person whose values have always been righteous and humble. Every day in that 5th grade science class, I could always recall his fun attitude, his knowledgeable lessons, and his bright smile. He didn't have to give me inspirational speeches to influence good in me. But by the way he composed himself in front of everybody, his personality, his devotion to see his students successful are what spoke to me the most. And tonight I would like to thank Mr. Joel Lynch for all he's done for my family, for me, for he is an uncommon man. And tonight he is my shining star.
Next, we have Drew Naruinen. Drew was named as a NASA Real World and Design Challenge finalist, as well as the NASA Space Habitat Challenge finalist. He was named All-Region Orchestra First Violinist all 4 years of high school. He won the President's Volunteer Service Award, is a National Merit Commended Scholar. He enjoys teaching Taekwondo for the past 6 years. His leadership positions include the Red Raiders Robotics Club founder and president of the National Honor Society, as well as being a member of the REL Chamber Orchestra. He has been named a McDermott Scholar at UT Dallas and plans to earn a degree in mechanical engineering. Drew has named Mr. Brad Langley as his distinguished educator. Mr. Langley teaches engineering and robotics at Robert E. Lee. He said, "I have known Drew for 4 years, since a chance first encounter in a biology class I didn't even teach, and later had him as a student in my Principles of Engineering course. I could not think more highly of a student. Drew has exceptional intellectual ability, but that is not even his most impressive trait. His pursuit of knowledge, desire to explore extracurricular opportunities, and exemplar character make him an outstanding student and an ideal campus leader. In my experiences with Drew, I see a young man who has passion for his interests, compassion for his fellow students, and a willingness to humbly lead. He is extremely personable and makes time to share his considerable gifts. In over a decade of teaching, I have not come across a student who is more deserving of the honor and accolades afforded him. He is the embodiment of so many great things that young people today can achieve. I am so glad I have had the chance to get to know Drew, and it is certainly my honor to be here to celebrate his accomplishments."
I've known Mr. Langley for 4 years now, ever since the days of sharing a room with Mrs. Camp. He was a fantastic mentor when it came to me creating and leading the Red Raider Robotics Club, and he was also my teacher in his engineering class last year, where I got first-hand experience in building load-bearing expansions and rendering 3D models on professional modeling software. Thanks to Mr. Langley, I realized doing that is quite fun, hence my decision to major in mechanical engineering. We've had some great times in his class. He keeps them lively and entertaining. You can never blame him for his candor. As Langley once said to a student that just got a haircut, "All the girls will be on you like moths to a light bulb." His witty retorts aside, Langley's also quite the neologist, or creator of new phrases. The so-called classic moron mentality is a Langley's phrase for when students, instead of memorizing the definitions of a given list of words for a vocabulary crossword puzzle, memorize the lengths of words instead. That you learn how to spell. Mr. Langley has also quite the repertoire of wise words of wisdom. Over the years, a fellow classmate and I compiled these Langleyisms onto a website dedicated to Mr. Langley. I'd like to share a few with you tonight. Langley always says, "No trend is absolute. The early bird gets the cheese, but the second mouse... The early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese." Got that backwards. Leaders need followers. If you're a leader, it's a good idea to take a look back once in a while to see if you have any left. As far as success goes, you're at the top of the mountain when everyone's trying to knock you down. And Langley's golden rule, he who has the gold makes the rules. Lastly, a few don'ts from Langley's personal experiences. Do not attempt to raft upstream. Do not bungee jump off a bridge. Do not blow up water wells using gasoline. And never, ever, ever bungee jump off a train bridge while a train passes overhead. Mr. Langley, well, what can I say? Here's to the king of D104, who inspired me to lead better, think smarter, and want more than ever to pursue a degree in mechanical engineering. Thank you, Mr. Langley.
Next, we have Jack Oliver. Jack is a National Merit Commended Scholar, received honorable mention in UIL All-State Swimming, as well as UIL All-Region Orchestra. He volunteers as a Camp Sunshine counselor, as well as Livestrong. He is the captain of the swim team and a member of the National Honor Society. He also participates in the Metroplex Club swim team and in the East Texas Board of Student Advisors. Jack has earned an appointment to the United States Naval Academy, where he plans to major in economics and become a naval aviation pilot and officer. He has named Mr. Matthew Franks as his distinguished educator. Mr. Franks teaches swim and athletics grade 9 through 12 at Robert E. Lee. Mr. Franks had the following to say about Jack. Jack is one of a kind student athlete. He possesses a natural ability to work with and lead his peers that will take him to great success in the future. I am extremely proud of how he has matured, growing into a young man who will be able to accomplish anything he sets his mind to.
Coach Franks has been a constant presence in my life since 5th grade when I moved to Tyler from Michigan and joined the swim team. I'd begun swimming at an early age, and when we moved to Texas, it was my first connection to Tyler in a sport. Matt has been my coach in club and has been with me through both middle and high school swimming. He has always been there for me and willing to put up with me whenever I had questions, which turned out to be a lot of the time. He soon gave me the fitting nickname of 100 Question Jack because I would follow him around at swim meets and ask him questions all the time. Matt has been much more than a swim coach. Not only has he taught me about succeeding in the water, but also about expecting the most of myself in life and in school in general. You will hear him praise you when you do great things, but you will hear him equally as loud when you make mistakes. He is a very selfless man and spends countless hours at the aquatic center, what we affectionately call the swim shack, and goes over and beyond what is expected of him. He cares for each and every one of his swimmers and will take even more time out of his day to talk to us, help us with problems, and develop a personal relationship. Coach Matt did not teach me any subject in a high school classroom. He taught me discipline. As both a swim coach and a mentor, he gave me the inner confidence to perform to the best of my given abilities, both in the pool and in the classroom. He has instilled in every one of his athletes leadership skills, a strong work ethic, and a commitment to excellence in any given area. What he has given me will last long after high school and prove necessary in both college and out in the outside world. Coach Matt is like family. He has been there for my 3 older siblings, has had to deal with me for 8 years, and will still be there for the next 3 Olivers yet to swim at Robert E. Lee. Thank you, Coach Matt.
Next, we have Raul Olmos. Raul has been named to the Dean's List as well as the All-Region Band. He was a state qualifier in solo and ensemble. He is co-captain of the woodwind section and the secretary of the math club. He's a member of the National Honor Society and a competitor in the Citizen Bee. Raul plans to attend TJC and then transfer to UT Tyler and then apply to dental school and become a dentist. Raul has named Ms. Carla Ramirez as his distinguished educator. Ms. Ramirez is a college and career advising for grades 11 through 12. She had the following to say: initiative, perseverance, and diligence are all qualities that Raul embodies. He does not only possess the intellect to succeed in every facet of life, but also the determination to do so. The defeats and victories he has encountered have transformed him into the avid student and exceptional individual he is today.
I met Ms. Rodriguez my 11th grade year. Ms. Ramirez, my 11th grade year. She helped me to stay motivated in school, academically, and she helped me throughout the whole college process. I wouldn't have known what to do, how to apply, or how to apply for scholarships. She helped me revise and edit them. She wrote letters of recommendation for me. She was always there for me. She's a very hardworking woman. She always finds time for every student, no matter how busy she is. She served me as a teacher, as an educator, and as a dance mom. I wouldn't know, I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for her. I thank her. Thank you, Ms. Ramirez.
Next, we have Maria Benya. Maria was named to the AB Honor Roll and is in the top 10% of her class. She is also a catechist at Our Lady of Guadalupe Catholic Church. She plans to attend Tyler Junior College and the University of Texas to major in mathematics. She has named Miss Anna Hodges as her distinguished educator. Ms. Hodges had the following to say: dedicated, motivated, determined, meticulous, persistent, and inquisitive are some of the many qualities of Maria Guadalupe Peña. When Maria could not include Spanish 4 AP in her schedule at the beginning of the school year, she asked me to allow her to do the course independently, even without credit. She wanted to do the assignments in order to prepare herself for the AP Spanish exam. Not wanting to miss anything in the actual class, she managed to get her schedule changed for the second semester. I feel confident that she made a 5 on the AP Spanish exam. Maria, congratulations for being an outstanding student. Good luck in your future career.
When I moved to the United States 2 years ago, I found it hard to communicate with most of my teachers until I met Miss Hodges. I consider that Miss Hodges is the best teacher I have had in the United States. I always felt close to Miss Hodges because she taught me my native and favorite language, Spanish. I like her teaching style because it reminds me of some of my teachers from Mexico. When I first arrived to the United States, most of my teachers were very understanding. But what I liked about Miss Hodges was that she was understanding, but also challenged me to do my best, even though I didn't speak English well. I admire her so much for her dedication to her job and for the way she motivates me to keep working hard. Her experience influenced me to continue learning a new language, English. Thank you, Miss Hodges. You are my shining star. Muchas gracias.
Our next honored student unfortunately could not join us tonight because she's been battling severe illness for the past 4 weeks. She has still managed to maintain her status in the top 20 of her class. Her name is Cabria Pipkins. Ms. Pipkins has been named to the AB Honor Roll, the first team all-district soccer team. She is a member of senior leadership, the National Honor Society, and a cheerleader. After high school, Cabria plans to attend Tyler Junior College and the University of Houston, where she will major in chemistry to become a pharmacist. She named Juanita Maxwell as her distinguished educator. Ms. Maxwell teaches Health Science Practicum of Health Science, clinicals at John Tyler. She had the following to say about Cabria. Cabria Pipkins is the most determined student I have taught in my 8 years at John Tyler. She is active on campus in sports, cheer, and other student organizations. Through many obstacles, Ms. Pipkins has maintained her dedication to education and her family. Her passion for life is beyond that of most of the high school population. Cabria is a champ when it comes to adversity. Her current situation is a true example of how she maintains her faith in her Lord and those around her. She is true to her dignity and integrity. Rightly, Cabria Pipkins is being honored as a Shining Star of 2013-2014. Next, we have Christian Rivera. Mr. Rivera was named to the honor roll, was a camp counselor for Camp Kennedy, is a member of the IB program and the National Honor Society. After high school, he plans to attend UT Austin and become a psychology major. He has named Miss Allison Rogers as his distinguished educator. Miss Rogers teaches English grades 9 through 12 at Robert E. Lee. She had the following to say: Christian is, simply put, one of the most gifted thinkers that I have ever taught, but he is also so genial and laid back that even his sarcasm comes off as friendly. He is a great writer, and whether I'm asking him to complete an analytical commentaries or craft metaphorical titles for ready writing, he approaches every task from such a unique perspective. I have enjoyed watching him take more ownership of that this year. His insightful nature, paired with his outstanding memory, make him a frequent curve buster, an intellectual idol to his peers. When he leaves behind the sandwich baggies of high school lunch in my room this June, I will greatly miss the thoughtful look in his eyes when he processes a task or prompt. His subtle sense of humor and the intelligent conversations we've had, but I know he will carry on in the tradition of greatness at the University of Texas.
used a microphone in 11 years, so it doesn't look like it's changed at all, but all right. So I've had Miss Rogers from junior to senior year in IB classes, and just like in her class, like we always do something from bell to bell, even after we've taken the IB tests and still doing work. But I mean, that prepared me. I mean, that's probably the test I'm most sure I did not fail. So from basically even before I had her, when I was had summer assignments, she was motivating me to do more stuff because we had to read Annotating Like a Professor, which forever changed how I read books. They were never simple stories. They were just like, there was more to them from now on, even when I had to reread the same 2 books over and over again. But even that book motivated me because I'd only gotten halfway through it, and then I got assigned it for homework. But from there, Ms. Rogers, a dedicated teacher, helped more than just me, but I'm sure most of the people that had her class. She wrote my letters of recommendation, which I'm sure didn't hurt me getting into UTL soon. And then besides that, I mean, just motivated me to take more of a stance in my life I'll never forget when everybody in class was talking about what they wanted to do in the future, and then I just kind of ignored it and went to the back, started talking with my friends and stuff, and then Miss Rogers was like, what's your Princeton account name? And I was like, I don't have one. And then she was like, you have one now. And I was like, oh, okay. And then she was like, take this quiz. And I was like, oh, all right. And so I took that. And that basically gave me a lot of ideas for jobs. And just like, that motivated me because it was like, if this person who's busy, has all these students and stuff, is taking an interest in my future, I mean, I should probably take an interest in my future as well. So even from there, still getting motivated to do stuff. I was recruited for UIL. I didn't even know what it was, and then I was told, what are you doing this next Saturday? And I'm like, I probably work. And it's like, can you take off? I don't know, maybe. And, so then I ended up spending a Saturday at UIL, all Saturday. It was great. I never did anything like that before, and I'm actually interested in doing more things now. So I guess Miss Rogers was an important teacher because she taught me to, be interested and take charge and yeah. All right, so that's why Miss Rogers is my Shining Star teacher.
Next, we have Miss Doran Shams. She's an AP scholar, was named to UIL All-Region Orchestra, is a HOSA area and state competitor, as well as the Texas Music Scholar. She volunteers her time with Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Light the Night and the Relay for Life. She's also treasurer of Livestrong, a member of the National Honor Society, Leadership East Texas, and the Spanish Club. After high school, Doran plans to attend University of Texas, where she will major in biology on a pre-dental route. She is also named Miss Allison Rogers as her distinguished educator. Miss Rogers had the following to say about Doran. Teaching Doran has been incredibly rewarding for me. Every day she is in my class, she makes me into a better teacher. Her smile and sense of humor bring levity to my first period class. And while her personality is light and uplifting, her work ethic is the perfect antithesis. I am confident that she doesn't even attempt an assignment unless she is prepared to give it her all. I know that I have pushed her this year in class and at home, but she has only improved because of her own awesome intrinsic motivation. We have spent so many lunch and conference periods together, all scheduled by Doran, looking at how she can even more fully achieve her potential on timed writings or quizzes, how she can enhance scholarship and admissions essays, and how she can make the decisions that will impact her immediate college future.
I walked into Miss Rogers' AP English 4 class the first day of senior year thinking the class would be a breeze, only to discover we would be starting Hamlet that first week with an in-depth quiz and annotations due the beginning of the following week. Her class was definitely not an easy one. Miss Rogers pushed me to analyze the underlying meanings of poems, prose passages, novels, you name it. I hated analyzing poetry. It never made sense to me. I would groan and complain, continually asking why it was necessary that we had to do this. She showed me that every poet and author is trying to convey a universal truth through their work. Once I was able to relate the works to real life, I became an even stronger writer. This wouldn't have been possible without Miss Rogers' continual help and guidance. Her help allowed me to write stronger essays, which helped me greatly in the college application process. I first asked Miss Rogers to proofread one of my application essays. This soon turned into 2 essays, then 3, then every single college application and scholarship essay I had. The poor woman learned more about my life than she would ever possibly want to know. She forced me to become vulnerable in my essays, which is not an easy task for anyone to do. She told me that I need to give everything to those reading my essays, for how are they able to judge me accurately if I do not tell the whole truth? Without her help, I truly do not know what I would have done. Through her proofreading of my essays, we discovered something strange and became closer. One day when reading one of my essays, she asked me who my mom is. When I told her, she immediately stopped and stated that she not only knew my mother, but had a picture of them together on her refrigerator. Now, as a student, I was slightly disturbed and frightened. But I learned that my mom was actually Miss Rogers' late husband's chemotherapy nurse. Being in her class, I would have never known that she lost her husband so tragically and so early in life. Miss Rogers is such a strong woman and an overall amazing person. I hope that I grow up to be half the person she is someday. There is a reason she is being honored 3 times tonight. It is not because of her amazing shoes, but because she always puts her students first. If you need to find her, she's always at the school. Either look in her classroom or listen for the clacking of her heels as she walks around the school with a purpose, telling people what they are doing wrong and what they must do in order to fix it. Her classroom is never empty, and she's always helping someone with something. Between complaining to her about the horrors of AP chemistry, to her helping me to decide on a college on her Make a Decision notepad, I am so thankful to have had Miss Rogers as my teacher. I honestly don't know what I would have done without her help this year. Miss Rogers, you are an amazing person, and the school does not deserve all the effort you put into it. I cannot thank you enough for all of your help. What? Oh, okay, sorry. So please, a round of applause for Miss Allison Rogers.
She meant to say she goes above and beyond. Next, we have Miss Emily Stanford. Emily has been named to the All-State Academic Team, as well as the Most Valuable Swimmer Award. She volunteers with the Salvation Army, the Red Raider Roundup Orientation, that's easy to say, is president of the German Club, a director of the National Honor Society, and captain of the girls' swim team. After high school, she plans on getting her undergraduate degree from Oberlin College and majoring in environmental science with a minor in either English or art. She has named Mr. Matthew Franks as her distinguished educator. He had this to say: Emily has been an extremely hard worker from day one. She has been an instant contributor to the team and one of the best young ladies you could hope for in any high school program. Emily is the epitome of a hard worker.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Emily Stanford, and it is my pleasure to introduce, or rather reintroduce to you for the 3rd time, Coach Matthew Franks. Coach Matt has been my swim coach for 6 years now, though it has felt like a lifetime. By adding up the practice hours alone, I have spent over 7,000 hours swimming on his team. Although a lot of it wasn't fun, and in fact, most of it wasn't fun, I learned a lot from it, from him, and I would repeat it all in a heartbeat. Coach Matt has always been supportive, encouraging, and influential, as I'm sure you all can assume from my fellow teammates' speeches. But in order to give you all a full picture about how Coach Matt has impacted my life, I'm going to have to tell you a quick story about myself. Now, the story is actually a secret. I haven't even told any of my closest friends. You see, when people ask why I'm older, it's much easier to tell someone, oh yeah, I started kindergarten late, rather than to say, oh yeah, I repeated third grade because I was struggling so much, my parents didn't think I was ready to move on. But that's really what happened. I had a learning disability, you see, an auditory attention weakness. I struggled a lot, particularly with spelling and especially with math. I remember countless nights, and Mom, I'm sure you do too, where I stayed up late working on my homework, frustrated and crying, with little teardrops smearing the answers on my papers. I would get so frustrated, I would eventually have to give up. And that's how I went for several years, frustration and struggling. That is, until I met someone who pushed me to change. In 7th grade, I joined the swim team and was subjected to Coach Matt's imperial reign. Giving up under him wasn't an option. Swimming was hard. There were weeks at a time when I couldn't remember what it felt like to not be sore. I swam 21 hours a week, and much of it was before the sun even rose. I was tempted, many, many times, to simply give up. But if I ever skipped, I would get interrogated and griped at, for no excuse was good enough for Coach Matt. If I had to babysit, he would say, so why didn't you tell them you had other obligations? Because you do. Or if I had a test, so you can study after practice. It'll help you focus better anyway. The only excuse that ever seemed to work was, Coach, I have to go to church. And he'd throw up his hands and exclaim, all right, I ain't getting in the way of little baby Jesus. Anyway, as a result of his unwanted prodding and pushing, I learned how to persevere. I learned how to keep going, even when every ounce of me wanted to give up. Matt taught me that hard work now results in benefits in the future. After learning this lesson in the pool, it was easy to apply it to my academics. I knew what I needed to get done, and so I did it. I transformed from a girl who repeated 3rd grade to a girl who is now graduating 14th in her class. Coach Matt, if it weren't for your teachings of hard work and perseverance, I might not have been standing on the stage today. The lesson you have given me is indispensable, and I will carry it with me wherever I go, whether it be Iowa or Ohio. Coach Matt, you've been more than a coach to me. You've been like a second father, maybe even a goofy uncle. Thanks for everything.
Next, we have Lucas Stevens. He's an IB diploma candidate and has been named a UT Tyler Emerging Leader. He volunteers with the Habitat for Humanity. Historic Tyler is president of the Spanish Club and a member of Leadership East Texas. He volunteers time with Texas Tech Camp and was a member of the Robert E. Lee football team from 2010 to 2012. He plans to attend the University of Texas at Austin and earn a Bachelor of Business Administration. He has named Mr. Elgin Johnson as his distinguished educator. Elgin had this to say: "It is with much honor and joy that I have the opportunity to celebrate the many great qualities of a young man such as Lucas Stevens. Lucas has the qualities and characteristics that make the people around him a better person. He carries himself with dignity and respect while continually displaying a heart that is pure gold. One of the most valued traits that I think Lucas displays is his confidence in who he is as a person. His willingness to accept others as they are. He has a quiet inner strength that resonates through his personality and his actions, not only as a student, but as a young man. I had the opportunity to coach Lucas as he entered high school as a freshman and through his sophomore year. It was a pleasure and honor to coach a young man with the caliber of character and intelligence that Lucas displayed in all the time that I have known him. I know Lucas will go on to do great things in life, and that more importantly, he will give back to his community and country, because that is the type of person he is. I know that Lucas plans to attend the University of Texas, and as a proud Texas A&M Aggie, I am sad that his intelligence and character has taken him anywhere other than College Station. However, I do know one thing. They will have no better student or human being walking the University of Texas campus than Lucas Stevens. Keep trying, Elgin. He still has all summer to change his mind.
I already paid my enrollment deposit, so that's not going to happen. Really quick before I start, I just want to extend a huge congratulations to all of our classmates over here. I know they've worked super hard to get to where they're at today, and I know they'll continue to be successful throughout their lives. Secondly, I just also have to thank Tyler ISD Foundations for putting on this event, because without them, I really couldn't honor someone who deserves to be honored like Coach Johnson. For me, Coach Johnson has been someone who I can always turn to for advice. I can always pop in his office and have deep personal talks with him. But really, my most profound memory with Coach Johnson came when I first met him. And this occurred when I was around 12 years old. And what happened was that my dad at the time was an assistant JV baseball coach. So what I would do is every time they had a game, I would just go chill out in the dugout and watch them play. And I remember one game specifically, they were playing a 14-inning exhibition match against Lufkin. It was a scrimmage to help build endurance. And they were winning 12-0. And I look at Coach Johnson, I look at the players, and they're extremely upset, especially Coach Johnson. And I remember thinking at the time, I was like, man, this guy's crazy. He's winning 12-0, and he's really upset about it. And I didn't realize it at the time, but Coach Johnson had taught me something that I would value very much throughout the rest of my life. And it's that success isn't a number, or it isn't anything that's measurable. But success is just being your best all the time, and your absolute best. And if you're not being your best, then you're not successful. And I just really have to take the time and honor you and thank you for teaching me that. Because really, it's being successful that fuels my drive to be a better person every day, and to fix the mistakes I've made in the past, and just ultimately improve as a person. So, Coach Johnson, I just have to say thank you for being a great example to all young men and women around the world.
Next, we have Megan Swartz. She was named to the A and AB honor roll, is an IB diploma candidate. She volunteers time with PATH and the Humane Society. Her leadership positions include the Community Service Project Student Coordinator. She is a member of the Student Council and has participated in the Youth Leadership Program from 2011 to 2014. After high school, Megan plans to attend the University of Texas at Austin and major in English to become a high school English teacher. She also chose Miss Allison Rogers as her distinguished educator. Allison had the following to say: every morning starting at 7 a.m., Megan writes my agenda on the board for me, waters the plants in my room, and cleans the books off the desks, all before beginning her own work. Because she is one of the hardest working and most thoughtful students I have had the privilege of teaching, I am incredibly proud that she wants to attend my alma mater and wants to impact students' lives herself. She has an extensive commitments to her fellow presbys and ibbies, yet she has never turned in an assignment late or failed to meet a reading deadline. She consistently performs in the top of her class. In fact, frequently she goes above and beyond to achieve her personal best, and as a result, she so consistently wows me with her work ethic and caliber of success that I have come to expect nothing less than excellence from her.
The University of Texas at Austin's slogan is "What happens here changes the world." As a Texas ex, Ms. Rogers has taken this to heart and is determined to make what happens in her classroom a life-changing experience. No one has ever impacted my life as much as Ms. Rogers has. She is not someone who simply lets life pass her by. Instead, she does everything she can to make a difference in this world. She inspires her students to be the absolute best they can be, both as a student and a person. Throughout the past 2 years as her student, she has showed me the deep beauty of literature and how much one can learn about life through the understanding and appreciation of the written word. Because of her outstanding teaching abilities and sincere love for English, I want to teach high school English. She has taught me what it takes to be a teacher, to be a guiding light in a child's life, to listen, and most importantly, to be who you are. I have learned so much from her about teaching that she sometimes calls me Teacher Megan. That always makes me smile because it proves to me that I can take control and that I have the ability and capability to be good at teaching. One of her favorite sayings is, "Life is hard, and then you die. So enjoy the hard part." Though this may sound very morbid and depressing, it is the truth. She does not mince words when talking about the reality of life, and even when referencing an author's message. If you go to her for personal help, she will be frank with you and tell you exactly what she thinks because she cares. As Khaled Hosseini wrote in The Kite Runner, she believes it is better to be hurt by the truth than comforted with a lie. Despite the fact that she says she had a heartectomy, we know she says and does everything out of love because she is a loving person. She is respected and loved by all, and she deserves every bit of it. She earns our respect through her genuine, nurturing personality, just as we earn her respect through being ourselves. As I go up to UT Austin in the fall, I hope I can internalize their slogan as much as Ms. Rogers has, and I can only dream of being as good and impactful of a teacher as Ms. Rogers. With the knowledge she has given me, I believe that I can change lives and help others find themselves as she has helped me find myself. Thank you.
Next, we have Kiana Tatum. Ms. Tatum was given the Basketball Honorable Mention District 16 AAA and also named to the A Honor Roll. She volunteers with the Salvation Army. She is captain of the basketball team, a member of the National Honor Society. She plans to attend the University of Houston or Henderson State University, where she will look forward to a career in nursing. She has named Ms. Donna Spencer as her distinguished educator. Ms. Spencer had the following to say: "It is an honor to be considered as a distinguished educator who has had significant positive influence on the educational life of Ms. Kiana Tatum. There is so much that I can say about Kiana. She is an individual that speaks her mind and hides her soft heart. Ms. Tatum reminds me of the month of March. She comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. Kiana has a way of getting her point across in the most stern way, but she does it with a smile. Her work ethic is that of an individual who's determined to make something happen, no matter what anyone thinks or how many support her. Kiana was in my 8th grade class at Moore Middle School. She always had something to add to class discussions, and it was never what I expected, but it was always connected. Her unique personality is what helps her with success, and it is what will take her far in her future endeavors. Miss Tatum is a special young lady, and I must say that it has been a great opportunity to have her in my class and in my life. She will never be outdone because her desire to be the best supersedes the average. It is truly my pleasure to know, to have taught, and to love Miss Kiana Tatum."
Character is what you do when you think no one is watching. I would like to honor and recognize a woman with an outstanding character who has inspired my life in many ways. Ms. Donna Spencer was not only an educator, but also like a second mother. Her attitude, strength, and readiness reassured me that, as it says in Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. She inspired me to never give up and always fight for what I want. I remember years ago when she was very ill, everyone was so concerned about her and her health, but she didn't seem to be worried at all. She never complained and never told anyone how bad she felt or anything. She always had a smile on her face and let everyone know she was just fine. It has been my pleasure to meet someone who could be having the worst day and could still go out of their way to make everyone else smile. Miss Spencer impacted my life by letting me know that no matter what life throws at you, you should always have a positive attitude. Thank you so much, and you are truly a shining star.
Next, we have Sean Wang. He was named to the TISCA Academic All-State, is an IB diploma candidate, volunteers his time with the Tyler Rose Marathon and Habitat for Humanity. He is an officer of the French Club, as well as coordinator for the Community Service Project. He's a member of the swim team and enjoys playing table tennis. He plans to attend the University of Texas at Austin for a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. He has named Mr. Matthew Franks as his distinguished educator. Mr. Franks had the following to say: Sean has never ceased to amaze me, never flinching in his ability to balance a challenging load of coursework with multiple extracurricular activities. He never missed a beat. An absolute pleasure to work with. He is bound for great things.
So, moving to Tyler, the beginning of my freshman year, I was completely lost. I still remember the period of time when I was enrolling and looking for activities to participate in high school. I decided to swim, so I emailed the address I found on the faculty list, Mr. Matthew Franks. I felt like a fish swimming in the dark, not knowing what my future in high school would be like, but luckily, Coach Matt was there to guide me in the right direction. Just bring a towel and goggles, he said, and then I started my swimming career. Even though I had not swam for 2 years prior to my freshman year, I immediately felt like I was part of the team. Now I had a new home to come to every morning at 6 a.m. Coach Matt has taught me to persevere through my swimming, encouraging me to push through and work harder. My discipline has been strengthened through coming to practice every morning, and the laps of lunges and 1,000 IMs Coach had set as consequences. Luckily, I never had to experience a dreaded 1,000-yard IM. I felt really blessed to have had this opportunity to swim in high school, and I'm glad it was Coach Matt leading me through this 4-year journey. I have gained skills and a hobby that I can use for the rest of my life. I am very thankful for being given the opportunity to swim with awesome teammates and having the opportunity to know Coach Matt as my high school swim coach and friend. Thank you, Coach Matt.
Next, we have Kayla Webb. Ms. Webb was named to the AB Honor Roll, as well as the second team All-District for basketball. She is also a 4A Academic All-District team member. She volunteers with the East Texas Food Bank and the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure, as well as the Salvation Army. She is president of the Senior Leadership Committee, captain of the varsity basketball team, and a member of Student Council. After high school, she plans to earn her bachelor's degree in broadcast journalism at Texas Christian University. She is named Ms. Donna Spencer as her distinguished educator. Ms. Spencer had the following to say: I met Kayla when she was in 6th grade at Moore Middle School. She was a quiet and seemingly shy young lady. She came to my 8th grade classroom one afternoon to work on a project with my daughter. I remember thinking that this was a student that I would be happy to have in my classroom, as I noticed instantly that she was a diligent individual who was willing to work hard to achieve her goals. Kayla became a student in my classroom 2 years later. She was an even more determined individual at this point. She was never disrespectful. She was always insightful. And I believe that Kayla was ahead of her time, so to speak. She didn't seem as young as the other middle school children, in her maturity and deep knowledge about many topics surpassed most 8th graders. To this day, Kayla still astonishes me with her maturity and desire to achieve her goals. She has inspired me to be a better educator because she allowed me to be part of her most influential years. I will never, ever forget Miss Webb and the things that she has taught me, even though I was the educator. I learned a few lessons from Kayla. I know that she will soar even higher after high school, and I am so proud to say that I had an opportunity to help shape her future. Miss Webb has a special place in my heart. She is like a daughter to me, and it has been my honor to teach, to mold, and to love her.
I once read a quote by American inspirational author Orson C. Martin, which said, "Your outlooks upon life, your estimate of yourself, and your value are largely colored by your environment. Your whole career can be modified, molded by your surroundings, by the character of the people with whom you come in contact with every day." I have been fortunate enough to encounter many people who have played pivotal roles in molding my life, but my 8th grade English teacher, Ms. Donna Spencer, stands out amongst them all. Ms. Spencer was not only my educator, but she also serves as a guardian. She taught me to value my education, and she helped to build my confidence that is now the motivation behind accomplishing my dreams. Ms. Spencer embodies the word inspirations, and without her presence in my life, I would not be the intelligent, success-driven individual that I am today. Never did I think that I would have such a close relationship with a teacher, but in Ms. Spencer I saw something more. I did not see a teacher, I saw a mother. From having long talks, dinner dates, and from her almost kicking me out of her car, we have always had a mother-daughter relationship. Ms. Spencer light shines brightest of them all, and a simple thank you couldn't do any justice to how she's impacted my life. She once said, "I think we are kindred spirits. We have a tie that is stronger than the eye can see." I felt it the first time I met you. I feel the same way. These words have stuck with me and will continue to throughout my life. So for this, Ms. Spencer, I thank you, and I hope that one day my light can shine as bright as yours.
Next, we have Philip White. He is the author of an amendment to Texas House Bill 773, an AP scholar with distinction, and earned the DAR Good Citizen Award. He volunteers with Habitat for Humanity, Toys for Tots, and the First Tee of Greater Tyler. He is a member of the National Honor Society and its vice president, as well as vice president of the Key Club. He also runs cross country. Philip has earned an appointment to the United States Military Academy at West Point, where after he plans to serve 5 years as active duty Army officer, then attend graduate school at Harvard Law, with plans to become a federal lawyer for the U.S. Senate or House. Philip named Mr. J. Powell as his distinguished educator. Unfortunately, Mr. Powell is no longer with us, so we have his wife. She had the following to say. The week after Jay's passing, Philip orchestrated a memorial wall for students to sign at Moore Middle School. He also started a memorial Facebook page and also spoke at the memorial service. I know he and Jay must have had a very special relationship for him to do all of this. We greatly appreciate his thoughtfulness and are touched that he has named Jay for this honor.
Well, first off, I would like to thank the foundation for all that they do for us and honoring both students and teachers who play a pivotal role in this school district and to the advancement of all of us. You probably noticed as I was walking up that my shining star isn't here with me tonight, but I'm honored to have his family here in attendance with me. Coach Powell taught me to never settle for second best, but always to strive to do my best. All the time leading up to 7th grade taught me the basic fundamentals of life. It taught me to learn. It taught me that I need others, and it taught me that I'm not perfect no matter how much I wish it so. Some kids at this point have goals to become lawyers, doctors, or more commonly, athletic standouts. I think it is natural for most middle school age boys to believe they still have a chance of becoming the best at their favorite sport. I know I wanted to be the next Adam Scott on the PGA Tour, just from America and not Australia. As amusing as it is to talk about what we once wanted to be, I do think that reality is sweeter and well-respected when the brutalities of life are equally highlighted. Up until 7th grade, I didn't know where I stood in life. I wasn't one of the smart kids who could leave school and go to Target in elementary. We justly called ourselves the Walmart kids. While it's fun to make jokes, I felt inferior to my classmates who scored a little better on an aptitude test than I did. In fact, when I transferred to Moore Middle School, I wasn't allowed to take advanced classes. This was the first time in my life that I was marginalized based on my abilities. I believe these tests proved wrong in the long run, but no one cares to change the system that seemed to work all right. I as well didn't challenge it because I was dreadfully afraid of other people and their perceptions of me. I was shy. I didn't care to lead others. I didn't even care to be around others. I had heard enough negative comments throughout elementary to turn me away from other people. Yet the one undeniable thing that could make me a respected individual was my athletic ability, and I knew it. I was extremely excited for 7th grade because it meant that I could finally start playing football, basketball, and track, representing the Moore Mustangs. In the prior year, I always took pride in running the most laps around the school on running days. I knew I was going to be a competitive candidate for the football's A team. At this point in my life, I didn't have any true goals or aspirations that fit my identity. I don't believe I truly even had an identity at all because I was just another student going through the system. It was at this point in my life that I was introduced to Coach Powell. My brother Preston was under Coach Powell's guidance when I was in 6th grade and enjoyed him. That was all that I knew about my new coach. I knew that my time with him would afford a unique challenge that I would have to approach with an open mind. The first day of practice came soon enough, and I did what I knew how to do: run. Throughout the next few weeks, I learned the football skills that go along with that running, and Coach Powell assigned me to the A team as a wide receiver. This was one of the most proudest achievements of my life at that time. The school year was going along, and so were athletics. I thoroughly enjoyed being one of the faster ones on the football field. But then, inevitably, we lost a game. So let me reiterate, we didn't perform well enough to beat the other team. While it was only middle school football, to be invested in the team and then fall short, we did not take that lightly. This is where the first real unspoken lesson initiated from Coach Powell. I vividly remember the practice after our first loss in middle school football. After a bit of yelling in the locker room, we all assembled on the field with an unknown future ahead. All the players ran down to the field on the specified path and had to get there before the coaches, who took a shortcut. Needless to say, it was nothing shy of a sprint from everyone. No one wanted to be identified in the wrath that was about to pour out on us. As we stood in the ranks watching our coaches walk to the front out of the corner of our eye, we trembled inside. 3 words were yelled. These words were processed without contemplating the full meaning. This was the challenge: hit the sled. Hitting the sled is a way we work to better ourselves, but it is a relentless torment that is a true test of commitment. After the first 30 minutes of hitting the sled and getting back in line to do it again, everyone was visibly exhausted. Coach Powell had us right where he wanted us. I remember the intent of his words because they reverberate in my mind, even today. Who is going to stand up and be a leader? Who will commit themselves right here in your weakest moment? This was the challenge I had been waiting years for. This was it right here in front of me. In my weakest, I chose to stand up to the sled and exert injury I didn't have anymore to move something I could only move with others who were equally committed. A teammate yelling at another is sometimes the most beneficial thing to building a great team. I yelled to get the guys up to the line, and they came under the same pressure I was feeling at that time. I honestly can't remember what happened after that moment, beside the fact that I accomplished the goal before me. This seemingly impossible yet so simple goal as to move a heavy object was remarkable. It was as if I had symbolically moved the heavy moments in my life that were weighing me down. Although at the time I didn't know it, Coach Powell had instilled in me a sense of intrinsic motivation, something that I had lacked up to that time in my life. This intrinsic motivation made it possible for me to identify who I was and where I wanted to be. Going forward from this event, I started to realize what it meant to truly work day in and day out for something that I wanted. Coach Powell took a liking to the spirit and me and decided to invest himself. This isn't one of those things that we can just see as people. It doesn't happen instantly. It is many different moments that we realize later in life that had ties in between them. One of the first times I realized that Coach Powell was significantly invested in my life was when he chose to take a small group of 7th graders, including me, to Posados, and the relationships he founded with us by doing these things were priceless. Having that relationship with Coach Powell proved to be one of the most valuable assets that I have ever had and ever will have. Another fun time that I can remember is when I was thinking of a skit to go along with my bid for student council vice president. I was in need of a mini trampoline that would be a part of what turned out to be one of the most entertaining dunk contests I've ever seen. Coach Powell left school to get a mini trampoline for me and called me to his class to see if it would work. His level of commitment to me was unparalleled. He found value in me, and it was one of the best feelings in the world. Coach Powell held me off of the basketball team intentionally so that he could train me to be a better runner. He also got me involved in pole vaulting and trained me to get a few gold medals in my 2 years with him at Moore. He helped me win a vice presidential election in the student council. He and I shared that connection that every time I saw him, we both started laughing, just knowing the fun moments that we experienced together. He went out of his way constantly for me and made 7th grade one of the most memorable years of my life. My time at Moore was made even sweeter when I found out I was going to be in his web applications class the next year. Coach Powell was a force to be reckoned with, a true leader and teacher. Following up a great 7th grade year of football, I was able to grow very close to Coach Powell in 8th grade, and he continually invested his time and energy in me as time went along. My last memory of Coach Powell is one that I still cherish. I was in 9th grade at Robert E. Lee and was running my very first track meet in the 2-mile. After the first 5 laps, I looked up to the stands, and right there, as angelic as could be, was Coach Powell. I hadn't even invited him to the event, but he was grinning, and I knew exactly what that grin meant, and it was the motivation of a lifetime to see that grin. I knew that he was all in on me in my life. He came to support me and the other former Moore athletes without having to say a word. He was there. He was always there. He was fully devoted in mentorship and perfect commitment to his students at Moore Middle School. I believe this. Coach Powell's spirit lives in me. His teachings in athletics and academics drive me to be a better student every day, and the continued commitment and determination he showcased has trickled down and is now a part of each and every student athlete that had the honor to learn from him. As you leave here tonight, it is my hope that you will be inspired by the dedication and pure sacrifice Coach Powell demonstrated in his life. I hope you will remember the power of teachers in our lives as students. I hope that we will hold on to these memories now and forever and hold them in treasures in a life that is undeserved but graciously given regardless. Coach Powell, we love you. We will never forget you. You are truly my northern star in the context of this night of shining stars.
Next, we have Paige White. Paige is a member of the National Honor Society and has won the Junior Symphony League Windsor Award. She's a member of Leadership East Texas, an officer of the Southern Belle Drill Team, and a member of the Spanish Club. She plans to attend Baylor University, majoring in health science studies, and plans to become a physical therapist. She has selected Miss Melissa Day as her distinguished educator. Miss Day had this to say: "If you could package compassion, caring, and keen intelligence all together, you would know Paige. It was my privilege to watch her grow and be a part of her daily life in 5th grade, and now she has taken all of her knowledge, talents, and gifts to the next level. I know she will contribute many things to the world on a daily basis with her own determined and discerning manner. She will be supported by her family and faith, which has given her a wonderful foundation and will hold her in good stead her entire life. Paige, you have an opportunity each day to make the world a better place by your words and deeds. I can only imagine that you will strive to make those days spectacular. Once you left me a lace and ribbon award crafted with love and generosity, which I still have at my desk. I know that you have shared that same generosity and love with many teachers, family members, and friends. Take all the lessons you have learned from all of them and challenge the world."
When I learned that I got to honor an influential teacher tonight, I had no doubts who I would choose. It's been 7 years since I sat in a classroom with Miss Day, but the lessons I learned from her will continue to be relevant in my life. Miss Day was the first teacher to truly understand what I needed from her as a student. She took special care in fostering my love for academics and was my biggest supporter. Miss Day went past the teacher norm and truly invested in each of her students as individuals. She taught me to find what makes me unique and use it to my advantage. I've never felt so much love from a teacher. Miss Day was and continues to be a role model in my life. There are very few people in the world that have the ability to make anyone and everyone feel special and appreciated, and Miss Day used that ability to unite our classroom. It was during my 5th grade year that I discovered my passion for knowledge. Miss Day refused to accept mediocrity from us as students and pushed us all to our full potential. The year I spent with Miss Day prepared me to leave the elementary school phase of my life and helped me develop as a person. I will always look back fondly on my time with Miss Day and think of a woman who went above and beyond to foster excellence in her students. I'm so lucky to have had my life touched by this amazing woman, and I know that she will always be rooting for me in life. Thank you so much for your part in shaping who I am today. I consider myself blessed to know you.
Next, we have China Woodard. China is a member of the Tyler ISD Student of the, or excuse me, has been named the Tyler ISD Student of the Month in December 2013, is a certified pharmacy trainee, and CPR certified. Her leadership positions include peer helper and was the head student athletic trainer. She's a member of the National Honor Society and Student Council. After high school, she plans to attend the University of Houston and major in pre-pharmacy. She is named Ms. Nancy Caraway, her distinguished educator. Ms. Caraway had this to say: I have had the distinct pleasure of working closely with China as a cheerleader, student, and a member of the Ladies of Distinction STEP team. China Woodard is the very definition of a phenomenal woman. Her confidence, class, and personality set her apart from her peers. China has always been a hard worker on and off the field. Her level of determination and motivation has exceeded many students that I've worked with in the past. I'm proud and honored to know that I made such an impact in her life. I know that with God's continued help, China will have a very successful future.
A current Tyler ISD educator who has a positive influence on my education and life is Ms. Nancy Caraway. Ms. Caraway has been married to Ralph Caraway Jr. for 6 years and will celebrate 7 years this August. The most important factor in her life are God, family, and music. Without God, she has no life. Without family, she has no love or support. And without music, she has no passion. Her strengths as a teacher are incorporating music into her lessons to make them more enjoyable for the students to learn, encourage students that may have had a troubled past to embrace education so they may have a bright future, and establish relationships with her students. It is her belief that all students want to know if their teachers cares or not. Without establishment of a relationship, how would the students know? Ms. Caraway has played a big role in my life because she has pushed me to be the best that I can be. She has helped mold me into a God-fearing woman ready to take on whatever lies ahead in my future. As a teacher, if there was a skill or concept that I did not understand, she was willing to explain the situation in depth so I could pass my classes. As a cheer coach, she went step by step to show me the moves of the dance that we would perform for the pep rallies and the games. As a person, when I was scared and ready to give up, she gave me encouraging words during the homecoming week. I remember my cousin bringing me a lot of papers of me saying vote for China. As I went to Miss Caraway's room every day as I did before going to third block, she wanted like 2 or 3 of them. Instead of getting 2 or 3 of what she stated, she ended up leaving me with 2 or 3. The next day, when I came to her class, I seen that she had all the pictures of me posted up in her room. She would tell her freshman students, don't forget to vote for China. Go to lunch and vote for China. This made me feel loved. Today, I stand before you as the John Tyler 2013 Homecoming Queen. I will continue to be by her side and support her just as she continues and support me. Miss Nancy Caraway, I honor you as my shining star, and thank you.
Next, we have Sharday Young. Ms. Young won the United States Achievement Academy Award and was named to the All East Texas Academic Team. She volunteers her time with the Salvation Army Family Store, is Senior Leadership Vice President, and plans to attend TCU and major in pre-med with future plans to become a pediatrician. She is named Ms. Sandra Taylor as her distinguished educator. Ms. Taylor teaches AP English 4 at John Tyler. Sandra had the following to say about Sharday. Sharday Young is an intelligent and conscientious young lady who cares for others. She is surely destined for success. Her decision to take a rigorous academic schedule along with participating in extracurricular activities proves that she is dedicated and responsible. Her ability to communicate maturely with peers as well as adults shows her capacity to lead by example. She makes everyone around her feel comfortable and willing to help her accomplish any task at hand. With her sweet disposition and thirst for knowledge, she can accomplish any goal she sets for herself.
Every so often, I tend to grow attached to a teacher, and last year I never thought that teacher would be Miss Sandra Taylor. Due to what the former seniors used to say, The first day of school, I received my schedule, and Miss Taylor was my second period teacher, and I immediately got butterflies in my stomach. When I arrived in her class, I did not want to start off wrong, so I greeted her by adding something funny, and she didn't laugh. Along with those butterflies, my stomach dropped, and I felt like this was going to be a long year. But I did not give up on her, so I set a goal to make her laugh. Shockingly, the next day, I said something corny, and she laughed, and I thought maybe it wouldn't be too bad after all. Throughout the year, I realized that she is actually an educator who is dedicated to helping her students grow to their fullest potential. It was best said by Maria Montessori that if you free the child's potential, they will grow to their fullest potential and transform them into the world. Throughout my stressful senior year, I have come to believe that Mrs. Taylor has freed my potential by challenging me inside and outside of her class. She has done the best thing that she could ever do by preparing me for college English. English is not my strongest subject, but Miss Taylor has been such an incredible teacher that I have excelled in writing, and I actually enjoy doing it. I not only learned writing skills from Miss Taylor, but I also learned to stand firm for what I believe in, which is that hard work actually does pay off. I would like to personally thank you, Mrs. Taylor, for being a shining star in my life.
And last, only alphabetically, we have Miss Eunice Zatarain. Eunice was named to the A Honor Roll, is an International Baccalaureate Diploma candidate, volunteers her services with Children's Advocacy Center, as well as the Adult Spanish Literacy Council, and Project Night Night. She's a member of Live Strong and the Friends Club. She plans to attend UT Tyler and earn a degree in civil engineering. She is named Ms. Julie Simpson as her distinguished educator. Ms. Simpson teaches orchestra at Robert E. Lee. I first met Eunice 3 years ago when I became the orchestra director at Robert E. Lee. Having been a middle school director for many years, I was fortunate that many of my former students were in the high school program and familiar with my teaching style, but there were also many students I did not know. Eunice was not one of my former students, but immediately impressed me with her positive spirit, infectious laugh, and comical narratives on the daily struggles of an IB student. She currently plays violin in the varsity orchestra and is also a member of the REL Fiddlers. I have never known Eunice to be in a bad mood, nor has she ever been negative about school or in life in general. Her friends and family are very important to her, and I have never heard an unkind word from her. Eunice is a dedicated student and is able to enjoy the benefits of being successful academically, socially, and musically because of her hard work. I was very proud of her level of participation in varsity orchestra this year. She performed a solo at the UIL contest and qualified for the state solo contest in Austin and was part of our UIL sweepstakes orchestra. Eunice has a bright future, and I know wherever career path she chooses, she will continue to touch people with her positive attitude and dedication to giving her best in any situation. Thank you, Eunice, for your dedication to our school and orchestra program.
I cannot recall the number of times I tried to quit orchestra, and just as I cannot remember the instances Miss Simpson convinced me not to, but I do reminisce on the countless joyous memories I have collected throughout the years from taking part in the orchestra program, and of course with our orchestra director, Miss Julie Simpson. She saw potential in me that I did not know I possessed. She pushed me beyond any boundary or limit I previously set in order to achieve the dreams that I never thought could be accomplished. Just when I thought I had extinguished all my efforts and nearly decided to quit, Simpson pulled me out of that obscure moment and catapulted me forward to where I am now going to state competition with the solo Simpson encouraged me to play as well as memorize. I never realized that by remaining part of the orchestra program, I was also able to continue my membership in the fiddle group. Fiddle group holds a special place in my high school memories because Simpson pulled me out of that obscure moment, and and she let me keep on continuing my participation in fiddle group. And without taking part of that group, I'm able to be involved and take part in events that I never thought I could be part of. My experiences in fiddle group have transformed from the practices in which Ms. Simpson bullied all of us into attending, to her separating from my stand partners because we couldn't stop having meaningful conversations unrelated to her teachings, to the moments in which we saw tears among our audience. Still, every memory holds a special place in my heart from which I can learn and grow as a person. The fact that she convinced me not only to stay in orchestra but to thrive in the program shows the amount of patience she has with me as well as all of her students. Her patience remains her most admirable quality that I aspire to acquire someday. And although there were numerous times in which I know she wished to walk out on us, she continued teaching because she saw beyond that given moment in time to our potential success on stage. Her efforts paid off when I helped contribute to an overall perfect score while competing in the UIL Varsity Orchestra competition. Ms. Simpson sees the moment after we put forth all our effort and sincerely shows all her students that we can achieve anything we set our minds to. Above all, she showed me that if I was able to get through orchestra, then I can make it possible to get through anything else in life if I truly desire it. Since orchestra is not my strongest area, yet I have learned to cherish the challenge and every instance through this amazing journey. Thank you, Ms. Simpson, for your valiant efforts that have positively affected my life.
That was the last of our honoring of our students and teachers. Now I would like to invite Mr. Gary Mooring, the superintendent of Tyler ISD Schools District, to make some congratulatory remarks.
Well, I know I can't top what's been said tonight, so I'm going to keep this very quick. And first of all, I just want to take time to thank the sponsors again that donated the money and the resources for this program tonight. What a great night. And just so proud of the students and teachers that were part of this program, and what a wonderful group of people they are. And there's not a better staff and not better students that are in all of the state of Texas and the United States than we have in Tyler ISD, and I'm so proud. But I do want to thank in particular Kim Farrell, president of the foundation, for her part in tonight's program. Also Maya Bethany, executive director, and then Mark Laredo, who had a lot to say tonight and a lot to read, and what a wonderful job he did, the director of the Tyler ISD Foundation. And just real quick, would any one of the foundation, all the foundation people that are here, I want everybody to recognize all the hard work y'all did to put this program together. So if you're here or still here, I know there were a lot here, if you would stand, I'd appreciate that. Give them a round of applause. And now then, I just want to conclude by just congratulating the students and teachers and all that y'all have accomplished in the year of 2013-14. I can't believe in my career we're at a graduating class of 2014. And just amazing group of people, young men and young women. And thank you for allowing me to be superintendent in Tyler ISD for the past couple of years. And I'll always remember this program, Night of Shining Stars, tonight and this year. So thank you for being here, parents and guests, as well as staff members in Tyler ISD. Thank you for being here. And with that said, we'll conclude the program. Thank you.